Somewhere beneath the earth, beneath crashing ocean waves, and buried deep inside forgotten subterranean tunnels, some of history's greatest fortunes remain completely hidden. We are tracking gold bullion stolen during global conflicts, priceless jewels belonging to fallen dynasties, and cultural masterpieces that vanished without a trace behind. For centuries, military explorers and historians have risked everything to track down these specific caches. Combined, these missing assets carry a valuation well into the hundreds of billions of dollars. Today, modern explorers deploy deep-ground satellite radar to scan impenetrable cavern networks. They launch autonomous submersibles to map the dark ocean floor. Yet, despite possessing the most advanced geological mapping technology in human history, civilization remains entirely unable to locate four specific legendary treasures. The failure to recover them comes down to two distinct historical barriers. Some of these fortunes were protected by deliberate, lethal engineering, constructed to kill anyone who approached the vault. Others were swallowed by the destructive chaos of global warfare, lost permanently in the rubble of collapsing empires. These disappearances expose a sharp disconnect in the historical record. Perfectly documented military history shatters into unverified mythology, the exact moment the assets vanish. This is an aerial view of Oak Island, a small landmass situated off the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada. Beneath this quiet exterior and dense forest canopy lies one of the most complex engineering anomalies ever constructed. The timeline of discovery began in 1795, when a young man named Daniel McGuinness noticed an unnatural depression in the ground near an old oak tree. As McGuinness and his friends excavated downward, they struck solid platforms of oak logs every 10 feet. These platforms were sealed with thick layers of Baltic birch and coconut fiber, materials completely foreign to the region, proving the shaft was built by human hands. At a depth of 90 feet, diggers uncovered a cryptic stone tablet carved with mysterious symbols. When deciphered, the inscription presented a very specific, staggering claim. 40 feet below, 2 million pounds lie buried. But pressing deeper triggered an ingenious physical safeguard. The original builders had constructed hundreds of feet of subterranean flood tunnels, creating a direct horizontal link between the open ocean and the main vertical shaft. Whenever an excavator breaches a specific proximity threshold to the main chamber, the ocean's own pressure forces seawater through these horizontal channels. The shaft floods instantly, permanently locking the lower depths behind a massive wall of seawater. These hard archaeological facts spawned decades of speculation. Without a recovered vault, unverified theories attempt to fill the void, attributing the site's architecture to the Knights Templar, Spanish privateers, or even secret royal archives hidden away from Europe. Over 2 centuries and millions of dollars later, the Oak Island money pit proves a harsh reality. Deliberate, lethal 18th century engineering can successfully defeat heavy, multi-million-dollar 21st century core drilling technology. While Oak Island relies on subterranean mechanics, other fortunes vanished entirely above ground. This is the Catherine Palace near St. Petersburg, Russia. It was the home of a heavily documented physical artifact constructed in Prussia during the early 18th century, later presented to Tsar Peter the Great. Installed within these walls was the Amber Room. It was built from over 6 tons of polished amber panels, meticulously layered with gold leaf ornamentation, mirror mosaics, and precious gemstones. It earned a reputation across the continent as a masterpiece of European craftsmanship, widely celebrated as the 8th wonder of the world. In 1941, German forces invaded the Soviet Union. Occupying troops executed a rapid, highly organized operation, dismantling the intricate room panel by panel in just 36 hours. The entire installation was packed into 27 wooden crates for immediate extraction. The crates were shipped westward to Königsberg Castle in Germany, but the official historical record abruptly terminates in early 1945. As seen in the heavy, roofless ruins left behind, Allied bombing raids brought absolute destruction to the target area, leveling the structures. From this informational vacuum, competing theories emerged. Some art historians argue the room burned during the siege of the castle. Others believe the crates were loaded onto a transport ship that later sank in the Baltic Sea, or were hurried into hidden underground salt mines to survive the air raids. Despite extensive searches by intelligence services, the outcome remains unchanged. The disappearance of the Amber Room proves that the chaotic fog of industrialized warfare can permanently erase an asset valued today at over $500 million, leaving not a single physical trace. The erasure of wealth during World War II was not always accidental. This image shows the scale of the Imperial Japanese forces advancing through city streets across Southeast Asia. This occupation was tied directly to a strategy of mass, systematic plunder, seizing vast quantities of gold bullion and religious artifacts from invaded territories. Historical accounts document a covert organization codenamed Golden Lily, tasked with cataloging this seized wealth. As Allied forces closed in, the historical architect charged with securing this immense fortune in the Philippines was General Tomoyuki Yamashita. Yamashita utilized a brutal method of concealment. Priceless assets were lowered deep into complex mountain cave systems and subterranean bunkers. Once the vaults were filled, explosives were used to intentionally blast the entrances shut, sealing the vaults beneath hundreds of feet of rock and trapping the construction layout inside. An almost identical strategy of evacuation played out in the European theater. As Soviet forces pushed west through Poland, local accounts detail an immense German armored train, like the one shown here, built to transport heavy military assets, loaded with hundreds of tons of gold, stolen artwork and strategic weapons, departing the city of Breslau. The train headed toward the Owl Mountains, the site of Project Risa, a massive, top-secret underground tunnel complex constructed beneath the rock. The convoy allegedly entered the subterranean network near Quesion's castle and never emerged on the other side. In 2015, global media erupted when two independent researchers claimed to have pinpointed the train using ground-penetrating radar. Yet, subsequent official geological digs failed to produce a single piece of physical evidence, leaving the structural network collapsed, unexplored, and the claims unverified. These wartime operations reveal a chilling tactic. Deliberate entombment turns entire mountains into impenetrable vaults. By executing the builders or detonating the entrances, the architects ensure that once they die, the blueprints die with them. This underground concrete tunnel represents the brutal reality facing modern historical archaeology. Deep beneath the earth, structural instability, flooded shafts, and the weight of time present physical barriers that modern recovery technology struggles to overcome. The factual baseline is unforgiving. After decades of continuous modern searches, heavy core drilling, and billions of dollars spent by intelligence services and private explorers alike, not a single one of these four legendary fortunes has been officially recovered. These lost treasures function as missing fragments of human history, unsolved mysteries permanently frozen in time. Their value is measured in historical context as much as bullion. The enduring human impulse to explore the unknown remains the primary driver behind these expeditions. The mystery itself holds a more powerful grip on the modern imagination than the gold ever could. The truth is always hidden beneath the surface. For more cinematic deep dives into world history, subscribe to Origent now and hit bell icon. We'll see you in the next story.